Here we are again from Happy Again Pet. Fernando is ready for another series of our IG Lives. He's looking forward. Today we're going to talk about CBD and the whole myth about this really, on one side, fantastic substance. On the other side, there's not much research that actually proves all of the claims that people are making. So let me just, before we invite our guests, who I'm introducing shortly, let me give you a short run through about CBD in general. So CBD stands for cannabidiol, and it's the non-psychoactive substance of the marijuana plant, or the little cousin of the hemp plant. Most of the CBD derives from the hemp plant. It's shown to help kids with epilepsy. There's actually the first drug or medication out on the market to avoid seizures, which is great. So these studies are out there. But people think that it has much more potential than just that part. One of them is anxiety, calms people down, and chronic pain, anti-inflammation. So, but just as a science-based and research, there are not a lot of studies that really prove this yet. There has to be way more research done. And now we're still talking about the human space, but I'm sure they will find a lot of great things, especially anxiety is one point that shows over and over again that it helps people. Now, how it works in your body is that you have receptors for, there's our guest. Okay, so you have receptors in your body that are, especially in your brain, that are there for cannabidiol. And here we have our expert too. I'm just recapping. Here is Jenny from Saving Faces.
Yes.
She has an incredible skincare line with CBD, where we will hear way more about and how all the benefits about CBD for your skin, but also has experience herself with her pet and CBD, which we're coming into later. So as I just said, you have these receptors in your brain and immune system for the cannabidiol system. And those activate certain things in your body, like self-healing. That's why we're talking about chronic pain. But again, the science and the research has not proven that really yet. People and testimonial talk about it and their own effects. And for pets, they have even more receptors. So they might be very sensitive to this. So they are constant pros. But when I walk through all the pet shows in the last 2 years now, every second new product is with CBD. And it seems to fix it all, which I think we should be careful of saying that. I totally believe it has a lot of positive effects and a lot of things in the right dosage and the right quality to use. But that's what we wanted to talk about today with Jenny. Hi, Jenny.
Hi, how are you?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Perfect.
Okay, awesome.
Yes, we can hear you. Great. So I already introduced you, and maybe we start with your personal experience, because you had a very old pug that suffered from joint pain, and you gave them your own CBD. And what were the results?
Using
we cannot really. Oh no.
Seabuck. Can you hear me? Sorry. Seabuck thornberry and CBD.
Yeah.
And along with the supplement, the Happy Again supplement. But ultimately, I was giving it to her for her joints. She had pretty bad arthritis. And so, she had some stiffness when she would try to go up the stairs, or when she would wake up in the morning. She had a lot of soreness. And what I found initially with about 16 milligrams, you want to kind of give them about 16 to 20 milligrams, and then you titrate up from there. What I noticed initially, she had a spring in her step again. I could tell definitely it helped with the pain, and she remarkably had glaucoma in both of her eyes. She had like cataracts. And within using CBD with that combination, maybe 2 weeks, I was totally shocked that her eyes were really sparkly and brown again. And I could almost see that her vision came back a little bit. She ultimately went blind, but I could see that gave her at least a few more years with clearing the eyes, which was remarkable.
Wow, that's incredible. So if we talk about CBD in general, that they have an anti-inflammatory effect, and also people think that it helps for chronic pain. But what I wanted to say in terms of joint pain, it does not rebuild your joints or cartilage. So what I like with CBD is, and I'm happy to hear your opinion on that, is that it actually activates your body to heal itself, kind of. It's not blocking any pain ways like a medication. It mainly tells your body there's a problem, fix it. So
Yeah,
I think that is one great thing, and that may be the reason why it doesn't work for everyone right away, and the dosage, we still not sure what is the best for everyone.
that's why I think just really starting with a low milligram with your pet and finding within about 2 weeks you should see the effects of using it. The anti-inflammatory effects are amazing. The antioxidant effects are amazing, and just really with the whole nervous system in general, it really unlocks all of those receptors. So the cannabis can go freely, and all the other benefits of cannabis, of CBDs, like omegas and certainly a lot of vitamins, like full spectrum omegas and vitamins. So that in and of itself too is going to, push everything along, not just the CBD. So if you're using a good collagen supplement, with the CBD product, everything's going to be more cohesive.
Yeah, that's another question. But you also had experience in your family with your kids with CBD, not only with your pets.
Yeah,
Tell us.
is highly anxious, and I used CBD for him. Initially, I used it actually when he was teething. He suffered really bad inflammation, just drooly and a lot of swollen gums. And I just instinctually thought, you know what? I don't want to give him Motrin. I don't want to give him something that's going to, blow out his kidneys. But he was really suffering. And so I made a tincture for him, and I just rubbed it on his gums when he was a baby. And he started laughing. Like, it was instantaneous. And then I'm a great sleeper. So I've used it to really calm his nerves before bed. And I have found tinctures were a little bit too much for him. So making a CBD bath with mineral flakes, specifically magnesium flakes with CBD, using it transdermal has been really supportive for him to sleep through the night, just to calm his nerves, like the jittery nerves before bed, and then to keep him asleep too.
Wow. That's amazing. Wow. So how did you start your amazing skincare line? How did you come up with that?
CBD, well, cannabis in general has an effect on the body called apoptosis. And essentially that is swapping out damaged cells from either the environment or even cancer cells, any damaged cells. And what that does is it attaches onto the damaged cell, and it basically commits suicide. So it aggressively attacks the damaged cell and then turns it into a beautiful new cell. So, skincare 101 for me, that made sense that it just was one of those ingredients that should be in skincare, which now it is, right? It's in every skincare product out there. But not only for those effects, but I initially started using it because I was reading a lot of, I did a lot of research on the Rick Simpson oil treating skin cancers. So it just was remarkable results that was going on in that industry. And then once CBD was legalized in California, then I was, really able to play around with milligram like very early on. So I understood what type of milligram to use for eczema, what type to use for acne. So I had this beautiful clientele that I could like guinea pig on and find out firsthand. Like that was my clinical trial. So that was really exciting. The effects early on that I could see with using certain types of CBD. And then I went through the process of figuring out which one worked truly best for the skin. And that was using a full spectrum CBDs, in my opinion, really the only one you should be using on the skin, because all the terpenes and everything that work collectively with the CBD, like you want all of those anti-inflammatory, and they're just really now starting to research the terpenes in general, and the effects are just as powerful and potent as the CBD itself.
True. Yeah. I mean, I experienced your skincare line, and it's fantastic and has great effects. So it's called Beauty Grass for those of you that want to check it out. We'll mention that again later. But you talked a little bit about the quality. How important is that? Like, there's so much CBD out there. Everyone seems to sell it in every little corner store for pets or humans, for anything. What do you say? How do you find out where it comes from, and how can consumers trust what they're buying?
I tell people, well, first of all, you're right. It's like the Wild West out there with CBDs just everywhere, and it's not only do people not truly understand milligram or what type, if they want broad spectrum, full spectrum, and isolate. There's all these different, not just CBD, there's CBD, there's CBB, so there's a lot of kind of misunderstanding on how to actually use it. I think it's very important, like almost think of it as where our organic food comes from. Like you want to get to know the farmers, you want to get to know locally. So you want to, like for me, I get to know my representatives. I get to see the farms firsthand and make sure that they're formulation. And it's the powder is good because you can't necessarily taste the CBD. So that's why they're using it in sport drinks and that kind of thing. But the powder is just it's isolated. So the CBD is isolated. So you're not getting any of the terpenes or any of the benefits. And the majority of the isolates are coming from China, which their farming practices, they use heavy machineries to harvest it. And you just kind of want to be careful. So cannabis plant is one of those plants that absorb everything in the soil. It absorbs everything in the environment. So if you've got polluted water and you've got a polluted big truck, harvesting the plants, you're putting that in your body. So when we're trying to treat inflammation or cancer, whatever you're trying to do, it kind of defeats the purpose. So really knowing the ethos of a company and really trusting the brand. So that's what Beauty Grass is. Like we try to stay closest to the earth as possible, knowing where all of our herbs come from, having relationships with the growers themselves. Like that's where we are. We're closest, try to be the closest to the earth as possible.
That's good. I also want to talk about, as we talk about dogs too, that CBD in the pet industry is the same Wild West. Everyone is doing CBD treats and tinctures and oils. And surprisingly, nobody really knows the real dosage and what is the best, and side effects seem to not be there, but they are. And we highly recommend to check with your vet before you treat your dog with CBD, and check the dosage. I saw two sides. One dog responded very well, one other dog fell asleep and was really out, and other dogs get high liver enzyme values, which is not positive. So there's still a lot of research to be done to make sure that it's super safe. But I think that it's nothing that you shouldn't try, but talk to your vet and keep the blood values and keep an eye on that to not risk any other side effects on that.
Absolutely.
So, Fernando, what about topical CBD for pets? Do you believe in any lotion or anything for them as well?
I don't believe in any topical for pets unless you're.
Oh no, now you're cutting out. Can you say that again? You were cutting out.
Yeah, and you should definitely talk to your vet if you're going that route. Topically, I would be careful because they can lick their fur, so you want to make sure you're giving them the adequate proper dosage. I see a question down here for CBD products that I trust for dogs. There's a great company called Receptor Naturals, and Receptor Naturals, they have beautiful farms in Colorado. I've used their cannabis products, their cannabis, not only in my shop in Venice, but I've used their cannabis for beauty grass, some of the beauty grass products. But they're all organically grown, beautiful. They have a great line of pet products. And they really help to guide milligram, which a lot of, I haven't seen, like, you're right with the Wild West. It's like, how much am I supposed to give a 20-pound dog versus a 100-pound dog? So I said before, titrating with the pet is the safest way.
Well, I mean, when we went to all the pet shows lately, it was a fun exercise to go to all the CBD companies and ask them for their recommended dosage, and they all gave us different answers. So it was kind of scary. But they also didn't have, most of them said you cannot overdose. So are you agreeing that you can't overdose? Because I've seen dogs falling asleep, really, like being out as an overdose.
I would say if your pet exhibits sleepiness, that's entirely too much. You should not feel the effects or feel tired or sleepy with pure full spectrum cannabis. It does not make you sleepy. I do believe the best way to get CBD into the body, and you can even do transdermal for dogs, like when you're actually giving them a bath. That is a really good way too, if you've got a smaller animal, or if you're just not quite sure, if you don't know, if you don't really know milligram wise, doing a transdermal bath, because we've got all the receptors in our skin cells. So using it as a beauty product transdermally makes the most sense to me versus a tincture. And same for pets, but it's a very safe way because it absorbs slowly. It's a very safe way to introduce that to your pet or human.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good tip. Wow. Now, there's someone asking, can you repeat the company that you like?
Yeah, it's called Receptor Naturals.
Okay, perfect. We will post that afterwards as well.
Yeah.
So no worries. So where can we buy Beauty Grass, your skincare line?
You can buy Beauty Grass at beautygrass.com, or you can buy it at Saving Faces Skincare in Venice, Marina Del Rey area. Right now those are the two main sources of Beauty Grass.
Fantastic. Because I know we have a lot of female listeners and we always talk about dogs. So maybe maybe there's a little hint for them to get some treatment for themselves. So I also wanted to open up for questions if anyone has questions about CBD. I'm sure there are tons of myth communication about that, and there's so much advertising out there that I'm always thinking this if this would all be true, this is like the fix it all. Like I even had a story that someone said my dog is barking too much, I give him CBD.
That's one way to do it. Yeah, I think too, with the 4th of July coming up, there's going to be a lot, it's dogs can have high anxiety with the fireworks, and maybe prepping the dog a few days beforehand is a good idea, just to help calm the nerves and with anxiety. I think maybe even starting now.
Yeah, that's true. He's one of them. He hates fireworks.
Yeah.
You go crazy. He looks sleepy, but he's also head of security, and he's kind of active at night. So don't trust that look. He can really act. So we have a question. What is full spectrum CBD? Can we repeat that?
Yeah, so there's broad spectrum CBD, which has 0 traces of THC. Broad spectrum is good for first responders or somebody that gets drug tested for a job, let's say. And full spectrum CBD has full spectrum of terpenes, and it has less than 3% THC. So you do have the 2 THC CBD together, but not enough to where it's psychoactive.
Yeah. And then we had another question. Which brand are you recommending for a CBD skin bath? Would that be the same company that you mentioned?
They don't have a skin bath. And as a matter of fact, I've actually never seen one out there, but I make a transdermal, Beauty Grass has a transdermal bath. So, I mean, you could certainly use that on pets. It's all 100% natural, but you can look on the website and check out the ingredients.
Fantastic. That's great. And there was another question about cancer. Does CBD help against cancer? Well,
I would say more skin cancer, and they have found tinctures to be very effective on certain types of tumors. But I'm definitely not a vet, and I'm not an expert on the cancer front. But I do know many people that have had success using CBD with very small trace amounts of THC to treat not only skin cancers in pets, but to shrink tumors. But yeah, your vet would know more about that.
Yes, and there's a good point you're mentioning, the small amount of THC, which is an amazing substance. It's not only that you have the psychoactive results, but also there are studies now coming up that it has great effects against cancer. Mostly the studies are in humans. THC is toxic for dogs. So I think there is a guideline of when it's very little, like in the full spectrum, it's still okay, but don't start to give your dog THC, please. So
no,
they don't take that.
It's not. Their systems aren't. Our whole endocrine, or our systems were sort of meant for that. I don't think it doesn't translate with dogs as far as that type of system.
Yeah, they didn't want to be high.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Okay, well, great. I think I don't see more questions coming through, but we're gonna post this on our YouTube channel as well. If anyone couldn't listen today, it was great talking to you and everyone that wants to know more about the skincare line or the cosmetics you're doing and other products you have at savingfaces.com, and the skincare line is beautygrass.com. We will post that as well. Can highly recommend that. One more question: can you bring your dog to your store? Are they allowed to be there?
Like at Saving Faces? Well, my dear darling Lola is no longer here, but Charlie, my business partner's dog, is not the friendliest dog.
Okay.
She's kind of a
But
one.
you have a pet friendly.
It's a pet friendly place. You could certainly bring them in the treatment room, but yeah, like I would be totally okay with that.
That sounds great. See, that's a place for us to go.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for your time and
You're
all
welcome,
the
Anya.
insights of CBD.
Yay. Have a good one.
I'll see you soon.
Okay.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.